everybody, Belinda here with Anastasia, and we're going to go over today some changes that you are going to see this year in transportation. If you did not have the opportunity to bid this summer, we'll talk about that, what it'll look like in August. We'll talk about some absence forms, how you're going to get paid, time cards, and things like that. So how are you going to get your bid material? You're going to get your bid material through an email. We're going to email you the links to the documents. So the link's going to look something like this. And then you will just click on that link and it will take you directly to the document that is attached to that link. So let's take a look at what the bid books will look like. So if you click, this is an example of the bid books. Not much has changed from fall. This is an example of a small bus bid book. So as you can see, it still has the same information, attendant, AC harness, wheelchair, all that good stuff that you want to know. What it doesn't have is students' names. And the reason for that is they are confidential. And in order for us to send this to you where you can have it the luxury of your own home, we cannot put student names on there, as well as some other laws and regulations that we are bound to follow as well. So now let's look at the bid master. So the bid master is, again, you're going to get the link in your email, and you're just going to simply click on the link. And this is an example of what the bid master will look like. Same as it always has. If you remember, you know, Anastasia, you know those documents that we used to put up on the big screen, the Google document, that would update when a driver and somebody took a run and everybody would watch it and you'd be sitting in the training room. This is what that document is. The difference is now instead of coming here and having to sit in the training room and try to hear over everybody's talking and having to ask questions, you can do this at home, anytime, anywhere. This document is live, so it continually updates, so you'll always have the latest and greatest version of it, regardless of when you log on. So no more going to Facebook or calling up somebody saying, can you tell me what, you know, so-and-so took? If you bid on the second day, you can get up at 1 o'clock in the morning, log on to your computer, pull this up, and you're going to see the latest and greatest version of it. So that is the bid master. So Anastasia, one of the things that everybody likes to have to see where they fall on it is a seniority list. So can you tell us how we're going to see those now?
Absolutely, Belinda. Thanks so much for talking about those other materials. Those are some great tips and tools. And to be honest with you, as Belinda said, you can do this at the convenience of your own home. So the same thing goes with the seniority list. So as you'll see, you'll be receiving the link as well. So Belinda, if you wouldn't mind to click on that link for them so they can see just an example of what it's going to look like. It looks just like it did before. You're going to see the seniority number, the employee name. You're not going to see quite as much detail as I have here on this particular example, but you're going to see it pretty much in the same format that you saw that was out there on the board by the runs that were available. We can no longer have those social gatherings, so we just need to make sure that you have this information accessible to you at your fingertips. So this will go out periodically throughout the school year, so you'll always want to be looking for that link, and I will name it Seniority List and then as of a specific date.
So that's awesome, but how am I going to bid? How are you going to bid? That's the big question, right? How is this going to be done? So it's going to be done by phone. No, you do not need to come here by phone. We're going to call you. Yep, that's right. We're going to call you. So how will you know when it's your turn to bid? That's a good question too. So this is an example of what we use in the dispatch office to call you. As you can see, it has somebody's seniority list. It gives you a time frame that you're going to be needing to be available. 6 to 8, Linda DeZembo needed to be available to us at 6 to 8 because Lori was going to call her. We will have the phone numbers on there, but I didn't want to put those on because y'all don't need each other's phone numbers if you don't have them already.
Absolutely. Belinda, you cannot call me in the middle of the night.
That's right. Otherwise, you'll be pranking one another. We'll get all kinds of crazy text messages, some buzzed texting. Is that what they call it? Drunk texting. So we left those phone numbers out, but we will have those phone numbers on there on the sheet we will be using. And then as you can see, the person that's going to be calling is listed. So it's pretty easy for us back there. We just kind of follow who we're supposed to call and when we're supposed to call them. So you're going to get a bid time. You're going to get a bid time, and you need to be available via phone. Doesn't matter where you are. I'm not going to ask you. Don't really care as long as you pick up the phone. This year, Anastasia, I don't know if you know, but we had people that were in California when we called them to bid. We had people that were on vacation in Maryland, walking down the boardwalk, picked their bid choice, and it was great. Everybody really liked it. So that's what that's going to look like. So again, you're going to get a time frame as to when you need to be available. And we also will send out periodical emails if we are running late or way ahead of schedule, so that you guys can be up to date on that, knowing that we may be calling you a little bit earlier or maybe calling you a little bit later than originally planned.
I just want to add to that is, if you know your bid time is between 6 and 8, log on to your emails early. What Belinda just mentioned about where we might be running a little earlier than what we had given you for our scheduled time, you'll know that information by looking in your email. That's our only way to communicate with you. So please make sure you log into those emails earlier than your bid time, so that way there you do not miss your scheduled time.
That's a really good point. And you know what else I liked about that too, Anastasia, was that when you were on the phone with Lori, Lisa, or Val, that was their chance to ask questions. You have that person one-on-one to yourself for the amount of time before you are sent to Bernie and Al to make your bid choice. So ask your questions, ask them about students, ask them anything you need to know about a run. You have that direct attention of the person you're on the phone for. And then once you're ready, you will get transferred over to Bernie and Al and a union rep into the training room. So do not hang up. Make sure you stay on your phone. They're just going to transfer you. And that's when you will make your bid choice with Bernie, Al, and your union rep available. And also Anastasia will be in there. So Anastasia, once I've made my bid choice, what happens?
So guys, you all remember sitting in Al's office doing bidding in years past. I would sit there painstakingly and have hand cramps after 2 days of writing out all of the blue bid cards, which you would have to review and sign off on at that point in time. Now, we don't have those because, of course, with our COVID changes, we have to make some different revisions to what we would normally have had. So what we have to do now is we have to fill out what I'm doing as a Google form. You guys have been doing these for me right along, such as the pre-bidding data. You just filled that all out for me, the personal information sheet. And some of you have been working over the summer and have even done absence forms online as a Google form. So Belinda, if you wouldn't mind, let's show them what I'm going to be actually viewing and asking them questions about. So, as you'll see here, this is what I'm going to be looking at. You're going to be on the phone. So when you come into that bid room, I'm going to be asking you some pertinent information, such as your first and last name. We need to verify that that's actually you on the phone. So that's the first step. The next step is I'm going to be asking you very specific questions, such as what is your AM block choice? What is your noon block choice? Or what is your PM block choice? I'm going to be asking you those very specific questions. That's all I need from you. So if you've done all of your homework based off of one of the documents that Belinda showed you in the beginning of this link, you'll already know coming into there that you want, let's say for example, block 25, and block 25 is a combined 6-hour block, for example. You'll know that information. So by doing that, it's going to make this process quick and seamless, and honestly, we've timed them and it takes about 2 minutes. You're never going to believe it. You're going to say, why haven't we bid like this way before? Super easy. So once I complete all the questions that I'm going to ask you, and honestly it's probably like 5 or 6 questions, I'm going to send you an email. It's actually going to go to the email address that you provided. So again, if you're already a permanent employee, I'm sending it to your shenschools.org email address. Make sure your email is open before you're in that bid room. I can't stress that enough, because you're going to actually get a response that says Google Forms, and then it's going to say 2020, 2021 employee bid choice. That's simple. We're going to ask you to read over that email, verify that I typed in the information that you actually wanted, and then we're going to ask you for a verbal confirmation in regards to the actual bid choices that you've selected. Once you give that verbal communication, both your CSEA union representative and our Assistant Director of Transportation will be signing off on that as your electronic signature, but it's just a verbal one. That's simple, guys. What's next, Belinda?
Well, next is I congratulate you because you just virtually bid once you're done with all of that. Yeah, so once you get that email from Anastasia and you've said everything is correct, that's it. You're done.
Done.
You don't need to do anything else but hang up and tell us to have a nice day. So congratulations. So let's talk about some dry runs. So dry runs also this year are going to be scheduled. We did it over the summer as well. Like Anastasia had mentioned before and Al has mentioned many times, we cannot have, you know, tons of people at one time in here congregating or gathering or grouping. And the easiest way for us to manage that, because we are so large, is to schedule dry runs, give everybody a dry run time. So once you've made your bidding choice, you can do your dry runs. I think we were doing them the 26th, 27th, and 28th, correct?
Yes.
You're also going to get, so you're going to get a dry run date and time. I believe, Anastasia, you send those out, right?
I'll be actually sending that out by the end of today, August 10th.
Awesome. So you will be getting an email from Anastasia and it will have your dry run scheduled date and time. Once you bid, if you do take a run that has an attendant, you will be emailed your attendance information, and then you are responsible to give them a call and tell them when to come in. And that has not changed. That's stuff that you guys have done in the past. So the first thing you're going to do when you get here for your dry run is we want you to come pick up your key and pick up your outlines out of your mailbox, and then we want you to head straight to the training room. We're going to do a safety and health brief with you. And I'm going to show you a quick example of the dry run schedule here. So that's what it's going to look like. That's what it looks like on our end, I should say. You will just obviously get a date and time, but this is how we keep track of it. You know, yes, you're coming in, what attendant's coming in with you, did you call the attendant, that kind of stuff. So before I get to self-certify, once you get to your, get in for your dry run, you're going to come into the training room and you're going to have a safety and health briefing really quick, and it's just going to go over some safety tips, health tips, you know, keep your mask on at all times, you know, 6 feet apart, that kind of thing, how you're going to clean your buses, you know, all of that stuff. Once you're done with that, then you're going to immediately start your wheelchair training. So we've combined wheelchair training and dry runs on the same day. Again, things we've done in the past. Difference being now they're just a little bit more structured and scheduled. So you're going to start your wheelchair training, and Valerie is going to have you watch a video, and then she'll direct you on the 3 stations that you're going to go to, and they're, you know, car seat and harness, operating the lift up and down, and then inside for securement. So all of that's still the same. It's the same as last year with the video and stuff. Again, like I said, it's just a little bit more scheduled and structured.
That's okay.
Yeah, talk about self-certified.
Belinda got a little excited about clicking on that self-certified form.
Got a little ahead of myself here.
So you're going to get the self-certified form in your email every single morning. You need to do this every day, 1 hour prior to your arrival. No sooner. We don't want you to do it the night before. We want it 1 hour prior to your scheduled time to arrive at the dispatch office. Reason being for that, folks, is we just need you to make sure that if in fact you answer yes to any of those questions that go through that form, you actually need to notify your dispatch team immediately. We need to make sure that there's actual coverage for your run. If for some reason you actually have to answer yes to any of those, which would mean that you cannot come into work that day. So read this. Be careful as you're reading it. There's actually a section in there that talks about if it's an unexplained symptom. You want to look at that. If you were outside shoveling yesterday because we got 2 feet of snow, you're going to be sore. You had some physical activity. So we don't want you to answer yes to muscle or body aches as a symptom because you were shoveling the day before. We want you to make sure if you can't explain it, it's the reason why you would want to answer yes for that.
So, you know, if I drank a bottle of Tito's the night before and woke up with a headache and some nausea,
Yeah,
that's kind of explained,
that's
right? Yeah, got it. Oh, yeah. So,
exactly.
so none of that. Got it. All right, let's talk a little about building protocols. So you will need to sign in and out of the building every time you come in and out. Kind of like if you go somewhere and there's a visitor's log, that's what you're going to need to do here. And we do have them located in several different areas, but keep in mind if you come into one area and sign in at the main entrance, please sign out at the main entrance one. Keep your signing in and signing out on the same login sheet. Do you have anything about login sheets, Anastasia? I know you guys use them a lot up here.
We use them a lot as well up here. We have them in the main office as well for our visitors that come in. So the biggest thing I think that we want to also talk about is for our drivers and our attendants. The entrance for you is to go down into the main double door entrance going into the building. We really don't want you coming in through the main office and kind of taking a shortcut down the hallway. We need you to go through the double doors, either on the back parking lot or on the front parking lot area. We need you to go through those double doors. The main office, we're trying to limit as much as possible of any type of exposures within and keeping all of us safe.
Very good points. And also don't confuse the signing in and out with the extra work signing in and out form, because we have both down at dispatch. We try to keep them separated. We try to keep them in different colors. But please make sure you're aware of what you are in fact signing your name to. As you know, we do have a lot of stuff down in the dispatch office. Lounge area, sadly, it is not going to be open for lounging unless you are on standby or you were doing your outlines. However, Cindy Scaludis, this does not mean you are going to get out of making me breakfast. So you somehow still have to do that for me. We just can't have a big congregation in there of people. I do not know if this is going to be all year. A lot of people have asked me that. Unfortunately, I do not know, but it is definitely for the foreseeable future. Social distancing obviously is a must all the time. You see X's and all kinds of social distancing signs up all throughout the building. Please make sure you are aware of them if you are waiting to see Anastasia or you're waiting to see somebody, waiting for your key. We do have it marked 6 feet apart, so please make sure you are standing within those X's and markings. Also, bulletin boards, nothing is going to really be posted on those. We are not going to be posting field trips. However, we don't have field trips going on anytime soon, but if we do start, they will be all done electronically, as will postings. However, I'm sure we will get into that more once we get underway. We'll set up another class or explanation on those, but do not be looking towards the bulletin boards for any of that kind of information. And like Anastasia has said earlier, the seniority list, she's not going to be posting those anymore, and they will all be electronically, and she will be sending them out to all of us periodically throughout the school year. Anything else to add on that?
The other thing I wanted to add on there too is I believe I've already sent it out, was your payroll schedule. What you're going to be getting paid, when you're going to be paid. You used to be able to see that out there on the payroll board. I still do have that out there at this point in time until we may need to take things off. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I did send it to you electronically. So if you need it, it is right there. And if you don't have something, the biggest thing or any questions is always email a staff member. We can easily help you out with any of those questions.
Awesome. Well, good. I'm glad you brought up payroll, Anastasia, because now I want to know, what do I fill out? How do I get paid? Show me my money. How do I get it?
Well, some of you have asked over the years. I've been here 5 years now, as crazy as it seems, but with that being said, a lot of you are like, hey, I do the same run every single day. Why do I have to fill out this card? It's just crazy. Well, guess what? Due to COVID, we are following guidelines to limit the amount of paper being passed from one hand to another. So this is going to reduce the spread of the COVID-19 and any other various other viral germs that we may be holding on to our skin, which then gets transferred easily to paper. So we have to limit the amount of paper we're using. So as a result, you are going to use that daily sign-in sheet that Belinda had discussed. So don't confuse them, because the sign-in sheet for the extra work is really the guideline that I'm going to have to follow to be able to pay you for, let's say you were doing that 6-hour combined block that I mentioned earlier, and then Belinda really needs coverage for a noon run to pick up a kindergarten route. Well, you decided you could do it that day, so you signed in. Make sure you sign in on the extra work document. Super important, okay? That's how I'm going to pay you. I'm only asking you to sign in and out for extra work only. So if you're doing your 6-hour combined and that's it, I do not need you to sign in and out anywhere for extra work. Just signing in and out of the building, okay? That's the most important thing. And I'm going to pay you for those 6 hours. They were yours. You are board appointed to that work. So again, you only need to sign in for work if you are a substitute filling in for someone. You did any extra work other than your normal runs, you will sign in on the sheet, you will fill in your time out, and then the supervisor will initial it, and then those sheets will be sent to me or Michelle up in the main office every single day. We'll be able to spray those down with Lysol, decontaminate them, and get them nice and safe for me to handle as well. So, how will I know what you worked so I can pay you? So I kind of just went over that a little bit. So if you're awarded 2 hours or more at bidding during the year, they're going to be your permanent hours effective the day after your board appointment. So for the folks that bid in the summer, that's usually not a problem. You're awarded the work usually end of August and you're ready to roll for the first day of school. What's going to change is if you're awarded work like Belinda was talking about, where there's stuff that's coming out in the future. Those board dates are different. So you're just going to have to sign in and out every day until you're board appointed. Once you're board appointed, you do not need to do that. So the big question is how do I know when I'm board appointed, right? You don't know that answer. So I'm going to work on a plan on that on my side to try to figure out that information to be able to provide to Belinda and the dispatch team, so they can actually have that on that sign-in sheet, so you'll know you'll have to sign in up to a specific day. That's my goal, to be able to give that for the dispatch team, so that way there you'll know after that specific day you will no longer need to sign in and out.
I like that.
So, another question that we get as time cards go along is, what if you're a 2-hour permanent in the afternoon? Well, and you want to still work in the morning. You want to be a substitute as much as possible, right? You were really trying to get that 4 hours a day so you could get your benefits, but you hadn't had any permanent work that was available. So you can still earn money by subbing in the morning. So what we'll need you to do is just sign in and out for the daily extra work for the morning only that you're going to be doing. I don't need you to do one for the afternoon as well. So I kind of talked about the 6-hour bidding and then a sub on the noon run a little bit before too, but this is just a recap of it, just kind of written down here for you on the log, or on our PowerPoint here. You just need to sign in and out for the noon work only. And also if you're awarded 4 hours of bidding and that's all you can do each day, you don't need to sign in and out. It's that simple. If you're going to come in here for your straight 4 hours every day, or your 5 or your 6 or your 8 hours a day, you don't need to do anything other than sign in and out of the building. What if you're only a sub? Well, you need to sign in and out for all the work you do. So we have an example of the sign in and out sheet for you, so that way there you can kind of see what it'll look like. I guess not. We don't have that on there. Oh well.
I don't know what happened to that slide.
I don't know where it went. That's okay. It's pretty much what you've seen in the years past. It's identical to that, correct, Belinda?
Yeah, think of it as like when you sign in and out for dry runs, when you sign in and out for snow removal. It's that basic concept. You're signing in when you get here, and you're signing your time out when you leave. That's pretty much
perfect. I just want to add one more thing to time cards. It was what I was going to talk about here when I saw that actual sign-in sheet pop up, but it didn't pop up. That's okay. Remember, everyone, it's your responsibility, not dispatch, not mine, not Michelle's, not Al, not Bernie, not anybody else but yours. You need to take responsibility for the extra work you do. So, for example, let's say you're out on the road and there is an emergency call that there's a broken down bus and you are empty and you can easily go and help that other teammate and help them out. Well, you're going to radio in, but that wasn't something that was already assigned to you as extra work, right? So we need to make sure when you get off the run that day that you come back in to the dispatch team and you work with one of the dispatchers and say, hey, that originally wasn't assigned to me, but I did something extra. I want to make sure that I can get that accounted for. So we need to make sure you will do the same process then, signing in and signing out for that. So I'm aware. I won't know, guys, unless you write it down. So you have to take responsibility for the work that you're doing extra above and beyond and make sure that you sign in and out and off on that every single day. Okay?
Good points, Anastasia, good points.
So,
now what if I need time off?
well, if you need some time off, it's the same thing. We're doing the same process where you're going paperless. And again, this is just to try to limit that exposure to COVID-19 and any other various viral germs that are kind of floating around out there. So you're no longer going to fill out that paper copy. You're going to need to request off time electronically. Now, Belinda, let's see if this link works.
Let's hope so.
It worked!
Excellent.
Yay! Okay, so if you need to request some time off, it's going to be the same concept. Some of you folks that have been working this summer have already become very familiar with this. This is your absence form, no longer needing to find a piece of paper, but you're going to want to save this link. Save it in your email so if you ever need to get to it, you can easily find it. So you want to save that. If you need some help on how to save a particular email, let us know. We'll be more than happy to help you out on how to do that. So it's pretty self-explanatory. You're going to go through, you're going to put in your work email address. Any of these forms, guys, you're filling out, use your work email address. If you're a substitute, go ahead and put your personal email address in here. That's absolutely fine, but this absence form applies to you as well. So you're going to go through and you're going to fill in the information. You need to put in what's your name, what union group are you a part of, what day you want off. Yes, you have to do this in an individual day. You have to do it for, if you need 2 days off, 3 days off, 5 days off, whatever it might be, you have to do it by individual day. This lets our dispatch team know specifically what days you're going to need to be off, okay? So it's super, super important. Reminder, as you'll go through this, if you're selecting sick time, if you're out for 3 or more days, you need a doctor's note to return to work with no restrictions. Nothing has changed there. That's still the same rules that apply, okay? My big pointer what I want to talk about is if your request for time off is on the same day, you need to speak with your supervisor. Super important. You have to let somebody in dispatch know. You can't just fill out this form and assume that they're aware of it. You have to let them know, especially on those ones where that same day type of absence is. Also, let's say, like Belinda had described, you'll have a little too much Tito's on Sunday afternoon at a barbecue and you're not feeling so well and you need to take the following morning off. Please fill out that absence form as soon as possible, but it is still your responsibility to call in at least 1 hour prior to your scheduled arrival to your supervisor on Monday morning. That is super critical because they may not have seen this on that document and we don't want that to be missed and have students not getting picked up.
Good point. That also goes for like after work hours too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anastasia. So, you know, if you're putting something in, you know, after 6 or, you know, 6:30 when there's no one here, you need to make sure that you do call in the morning because chances of us seeing that are pretty slim. So wheelchair training I won't go too in depth with because we did talk about it. You are going to have it on the same day as dry runs. You're going to be in small groups. Again, we're going to do, I think, what did we say, 10 people? We're calling 10 people at a time.
10 to 15 on an average, yeah.
10 to 15 people in at dry runs. That will be what the groups are in. You'll start with a 10-minute video and then you'll go to 3 different stations. Again, car seat harness, lift up and down, and then securement. You'll have a piece of paper that you will need to bring with you to every station, and a trainer will initial after you've completed each station. Once you get to your last station, that you need the last initial for, you will hand it to that trainer. That trainer will take that paper from you so you don't have to carry it in. This training is mandatory, and you do get paid an hour for it. So keep that in mind. It is mandatory, but it is paid.
Linda, talking about that, and it's got the same day as dry run, I also just want to mention too about dry runs. How do they get paid for that, Belinda? How does the dry run pay work for that? So let's kind of talk about that a little bit for them.
Absolutely. So you get paid, we're doing it the same. You get paid your entire block of time if you do all of your runs. So if you do all 6 runs and you have 8 hours, but it only takes you 4 hours to do them because, we understand you're not loading and unloading and all that good stuff, you still would get paid the 8 hours. So you get your 8 hours plus your wheelchair training. But Anastasia, that's not overtime, is it?
No, it is not. It's not overtime. But something else I'd like to mention too in regards to that is, what if you come in and you're scheduled and you've got to be off the road by 4 o'clock and you didn't finish all your runs? What do we do then, Belinda?
Oh, well, don't worry, because we do have extra days that we can schedule you for. So if you come back in and you say to one of the dispatchers, yeah, I only got my morning parts done, or my morning and noon, I didn't get a chance to do my afternoon because, I had to be off the road at 4, we can schedule you another day to come in and finish those runs. It's definitely not a problem, but keep in mind, you're not going to get paid twice for it. You will still get your full 8-hour block, or however long your block is, paid. So you'll only be paid once for it, but we definitely can make arrangements if you, for some reason, do not finish them all in one day.
Awesome. Sounds great. What next?
Well, let's talk about communication. The bottom line is, folks, that the communication has changed now. It's going to be all through email, all virtual, as much as we possibly can. So it is imperative that you get your email up and running, get some technology going, however you need to do that. Get a computer, get internet. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Lots of people use their phones, tablets, desktop, anything. It doesn't have to have a ton of bells and whistles. It's just got to be able to get you on the internet, get you logged into certain programs that you're going to need, Google, your email, etc. Because like Anastasia said earlier, this is your personal responsibility. We're giving you all of this information. We're helping you through it. This is your responsibility to make sure that you get on it and you are getting all of these communications that we are sending to you.
And right now on that communication, Belinda, there's a lot coming, everybody. Mm-hmm. So you should be on that every single day, if not multiple times a day. There's different forums, different communications, different little video links, just like this one, to try to give you tools and tips on how to get through the next coming year.
Mm-hmm. And it's not just us, right, Anastasia? I mean, the district is sending everything out virtually now. Schools are going to be, it's not just this department, it's everywhere. Yeah. Any kind of communication from this district is going to come via email or some form of that.
Absolutely. As you'll start to see, most of you are starting to see in your Shen emails, you're starting to see job postings from Human Resources. That's not something you used to see before. You used to actually have to go to the ShenNet website or look at the actual postings that were posted out on the board. You're now getting those actually received to you in your inbox as soon as they are available.
Yep. And I know that, you can get bombarded with emails. We completely get that. But, if you're checking them every day or even a couple times a day and you're, clearing out that inbox and stuff of the stuff you need and stuff you don't, you won't have 5,000 emails when you finally do open it. So, you need to be checking them daily, multiple times a day. If you don't, there's other places they can go. Right, Anastasia, the library. If you need internet, Starbucks.
Starbucks is another great place. You can go even right here to the Shen campus. We have 2 desktops actually here in the main hallway that you could utilize. We do sanitize those in between each and every use to make sure everybody is staying safe and being responsible for making sure the next person is okay. Or you could even just come on and campus yourself and use the public Wi-Fi that's on there and log on to your own device in your car. So many different choices and options that you actually have, but we just try to need to limit that exposure and groupings and gatherings that are here in the building.
Anybody else want to chime in, Anastasia, there?
Well, let's just talk about a couple of other things too, is that use your email as a tool. It's yours to utilize. You can email maybe routing if you've got a question on a route. You could email maybe Judy in regards to your student referral that you wrote. Maybe she'll even email you specifically and say, hey, I got a couple of questions on the form that you filled out. I need to get some clarity. Please watch for that. You could even email Michelle. Hey, you want to know when you get your CDL reimbursement? Send her an email. She'll be able to look that up for you. You reduce the risk for your exposure and your colleagues' exposure by just simply using the internet and using that email option. Another great thing is Val's going to be sending you an email for all of your recertifications and trainings. Be looking for that. Be watching for that. Again, that's your personal responsibility to make sure that you are completely up to code for, I'm not going to say the right things, Belinda, like 19A, I think is maybe the terminology, and SED guidelines. So you just want to make sure that you're in compliance. It's just like your own regular driver's license, right, folks? If it's going to expire, you know it, and you have to take that action and go to DMV and get that taken care of.
Well,
that's it for me.
That's it for me too. I think we've covered a lot of great things, a lot of good information from Anastasia and myself, if I do say so myself.
Kudos, Belinda.
Kudos to you. So please remember, we are here to help you. We get that this is a difficult time and so many changes are happening so rapidly. We completely understand that. So we're here to help. If you need anything, please give us a call. You know, we've helped plenty of people get on their emails, reset their passwords. We're like buddies with IMS now, so we got it in. So give us a call. You know, we definitely want to help you out and get you on this. So have a great day, and we shall see you guys soon. And again, if you have any questions, give us a call.